The Democrats have been making serious mistakes with how they've been treating Donald Trump. And it has always worked in the favor of the former president. And that's because most people understand when they see a political witch hunt and a political trial, and they don't like it one bit. On top of that, they see the country falling apart under Biden and his regime with the Democrat. They know that life was much better under Trump with his policies, regardless of his mean tweets. And right before the verdict, Dennis Quaid, Hollywood liberal, spills the beans on the sinister commie plot to destroy America. From celebrity feuds to surprising endorsements, we're uncovering the cultural shift that's shaking Tinseltown. You won't believe what Quaid has to say. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So today we've got a real story for you. Dennis Quaid, a name you know and trust from Hollywood, is breaking ranks and siding with Trump. That's right, the former liberal darling is now singing a different tune. What could possibly make a Hollywood insider turn towards Trump? Well, you're about to find out. In a candid interview with Piers Morgan, Quaid didn't hold back. He shared his concerns about the state of the country and the Constitution. He sees the same things we do, a concerted effort to get Trump using lawfare. Can you believe it? A Hollywood star admitting that the commies are out to destroy America. This is big, guys. Now, Quaid isn't the only one in Hollywood who's had enough. Celebrities are breaking away from the leftist narrative. It's because things have gotten so bad that even the glitterati can't ignore it anymore. And trust me, the Democrats have no one to blame but themselves. All right, guys, here is Piers Morgan interviewing Dennis Quaid, and you're going to hear some things that are remarkable.
That 30, 40 years ago, we had liberal Republicans, we had conservative Democrats,
yes,
and there was much more across the aisle.
You voted for both sides.
Yeah, Reagan and Tip O'Neill, they would get together a couple of times a week at 5 o'clock and over at the White House and talk it over. And they were, bitter enemies during.
Here comes the question.
During work hours, but they worked it out.
What do you think of Trump?
I myself, I think I'm going to vote for him.
Really?
Yeah, in the next election. Yes, I am.
Are you?
Guys, you have no idea how much that means in the inner circle, because people follow him. They like to listen to him. And if you have celebrities like this, like A-list celebrities like this saying this, that means there's a cultural shift.
Ready for the blowback?
Well, yeah.
If it inevitably comes with Trump?
I think this election, everybody's got to, I think they're going to take a side or whatever, but it just seems to me, it just makes sense. I was ready not to vote for Trump until what I saw is more than politics. I see a weaponization of our justice system.
Guys, think about that. Dennis Quaid sees it. These guys out in Hollywood see it. If he sees that, how come the meathead doesn't?
And a challenge to our Constitution, us as Americans, that I don't think.
He's a Hollywood liberal talking about a challenge to our Constitution. Think about that. I have a newfound respect for this guy now.
We're going to have. And, Trump is the most investigated person probably in the history of the world.
Yep.
And they haven't been able to really get him on anything.
And this
because there isn't anything.
whole Stormy Daniels thing to
Now, guys, remember, this is just a couple of days before the verdict. All right?
me is so kind of pathetic. I mean, whatever happens, as we sit here now, that we're going to find out in a few days whether he's guilty or not guilty. I don't think it matters.
It doesn't.
If anything, if he's found guilty, it'll probably help him more.
Yeah, even the way you just said it made it seem like that.
See, that was pretty prophetic by Piers, because we now know that he has had fundraising records. I mean, it's helped immeasurably, and more people are coming to his side now because they know that the entire trial was a scam. It was a political show trial.
Trial or guilty or not guilty is about Stormy Daniels,
right?
Which it's not.
No, it's not.
And in fact, what is the?
You see that he knows that the trial was not about Stormy Daniels, but they wanted you to think it was because it's an emotional response.
Crime. I still can't figure it out.
Well, they did.
Did you hear that? He said the crime. He said, I still can't figure out what the crime is. Nobody can. And that's intentional.
For the crime, neither can they, because they haven't said what it is. They took a misdemeanor that had run out of its.
He's having a little trouble because he's on the spot and he can't think of statute of limitations, but he knows.
Run out of its time and trying to turn it into a felony.
Yeah. So guys, think about that. Dennis Quaid gets it. They were state misdemeanors that Bragg miraculously and magically got the judge to allow him to convert them into federal felonies. It's not done. That alone will be a reversal.
And but they won't even say what that is.
Do you have to like Trump to vote for him?
No.
Do you like him personally?
Well, look,
here we go.
I was in
the last.
It is in the last campaign, and in 16, and in 20. I found myself going, "Oh, please don't do that. Please don't say that." It's like these things have come out of his mouth, and but as president, the only thing I liked about Trump was everything he did.
How about that? In other words, you don't have to like the man. Fuck his mean tweets, right? You don't have to love Trump. Just love what he's done. That's all you have to love.
Right.
What he did with Korea, with Rocket Baby, the way he defeated ISIS in 3 weeks. People don't even remember it happened so fast.
Remember when Obama started talking about the JV team and all that, and he had such trouble with ISIS? Trump came in 3 weeks later, ISIS was obliterated.
How he stood up for us overseas. And
because Biden and Obama would trash us overseas. And Trump always said great things about America when he was overseas, as any president should.
China and the way he responded to China, he stands up to people, and that's what makes him a leader. And yet
his fellow brethren out in the leftward land of silliness in Hollywood, they're the ones that say that Trump is the one that likes dictators. He loves Putin. He loves Xi. He loves the little rocket man in North Korea. Not at all. I mean, Trump once said, well, don't you think we should be friendly with Russia? Wouldn't that be better than being enemies? They just don't get it, but this man does.
Rather than what I kind of compare it to what was going on in Jimmy Carter's administration, where we're trying to be everybody's friend and pal. And there's some evil people and bad actors in this world.
Yep.
And so, people might call him an asshole, but he's my asshole.
There you go. He's my asshole. Hey, I'll take it. A win is a win, right? Now, guys, remember, Snoop Dogg, who once feuded with Trump, is now all about the former president. He not too long ago told the Sunday Times that Trump ain't done nothing wrong and that he respects the man for his actions. This is the same guy who had a giant Trump clown in his music video and he shot him. Pay attention to this.
My boy Snoop Dogg recently made waves when he commented on former President Donald Trump by saying he has, quote, nothing but love for the former president. Snoop told the Sunday Times, Donald Trump, question mark, he ain't done nothing wrong to me. He has only done great things for me. He pardoned Michael Harris. I have nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump.
That's right. Absolutely. So now you've got Snoop Dogg. You have his people, right? People that are his supporters and fans. You got Dennis Quaid from the movie industry, right? And all his supporters and fans. And what else do we have? Well, we have the a-hole lister, Michael Rappaport, a guy who's never been shy about his disdain for Trump. He's now saying that voting for Trump is on the table. Why? Because his wallet and his love for Israel were better off under Trump the first time. When even the staunchest critics start reconsidering, you know something's up. Give this a watch.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. You made waves a few months ago. You never do that, sir, when you said you might be voting for Trump this year. But you've told us before you don't really like the guy. So I want to know what's changed. Talk to me.
I don't like him. I'm never going to
See, he has to act this way so that he can get away with saying, I'm going to vote for Trump, because voting for Trump is in his personal best interest and probably his loved ones and, family and friends, right? But in order to stay in that leftist cabal of Hollywood assholes like Robert Delusional, right? He has to say that he can't stand the guy, has to call him names, curse about him. Just watch.
I'm never going to like him. I don't like Biden. I don't like any of these politicians, to be honest with you. The more and more that I learn about politicians, it's the old saying. They're not likable. They're not trustworthy. They double talk. They play games. They backpedal. They don't apologize when they're wrong, which I think news people and politicians in general should be comfortable and be emboldened and feel strong enough and confident enough to apologize when they're wrong. Mm-hmm. But I don't like any politicians, to be honest with you. But they are very charming. That's why they're politicians. And as far as Trump is concerned and Biden is concerned, where I stand now with everything that I believe in and that I want for Israel, everything I believe in that I want for my wallet, voting for Trump is on the table. I know it's shocking. I'll always call him names. I'm never going to like him. I'm never going to think his behavior is presidential or even acceptable for a citizen.
He was far more presidential than Joe Biden could ever be.
Who's walking the streets. I think he's totally out of line. I think he doesn't know how to handle himself and handle the position with the grace and class that it deserves.
Then he's never watched an actual speech of Trump's. He's only watched when he's fighting back against an asshole reporter that's trying to do a gotcha question.
Being said, at this point in my life, as the grown man that I am, and the information that I understand a lot more than I understood it 5 years ago or 5 days ago, I am. It's on the table, and that.
So you see, he just said pretty much the same thing that Dennis Quaid said, only Dennis Quaid said it more eloquently, and he said it like he's a beer-guzzling bowler. Guys, as Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream from culture. If Hollywood's culture is shifting, politics will follow. This is a win for liberty and a blow to the commie agenda. So let's show these Hollywood converts why they made the right choice. Don't discount them because you didn't like what they've done in the past. This is a definite win. All right. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button and get ready, because that culture war is still raging on. See you in the next one.
You don't need that protection. I will walk on glass. I will run 10,000 miles and more.